guys, this is Super Women Lunch and starting off to tell you we're starting a movement here, and it's Alicia Stringer here helping you create success dreams, because these women stick together and you've got to join some people that you can connect with and mingle. There's all sorts of types of women here and you're going to meet a lot of them, and just want you to check them out, get in.
Congratulations goes to you for being here. There's a lot of people that don't see the power of events. You made it happen. I know there's some people on the team that wanted to be here, did everything they could, and weren't able to make it. Our thoughts and prayers and everything do go out to them, but you're here. And the important thing right now is to realize that you did whatever it took to be here, and a big decision can be made this weekend, and it's really going to be on you to make that decision. We can't make it for you. The Super Women leaders can't make it for you. You need to make that decision yourself. So one thing I learned a long time ago is that you get whatever you want to get out of events. Okay, I was just walking from the hotel over here, and a woman pulled me aside and said, Chris, teach me one secret how I can get the most out of this event. And I said, well, you know, I was tired 10 minutes ago. I just bought a coffee. I just got the most out of this coffee. I'm wired right now, right? Like, I made a decision that this coffee's going to get me wired, and I went and got wired. Like, and it's funny because, it's funny of an analogy as that is, that's just what I do with everything, right? If I'm going to come here, I'm going to get the most out of this, and nobody can tell me how to get the most out of this. I'm just going to come make an internal decision that I'm going to get everything I need to get out of this weekend. You see, when a speaker speaks, they can speak directly to you if you let them. If you're ready to hear what they have to say, that's what I want you to do this weekend, is I want you to open up your heart to the idea that there's something for you. There's something that's meant for you, and only you, probably, because we're all unique people with crazy stuff happening in our lives outside of this business. And it's up to you to just say, you know what? I'm going to be ready, I'm going to be present, and I'm going to get the nugget that I need to go back and transform my life. Okay? So I want to talk about that for a minute. I want to talk about how to transform your life. I want to talk about, I want to piggyback on something Lawrence just said a minute ago, okay? One of the biggest transformations you're going to have is learning how to appreciate and leverage the small victories, okay? Appreciate and leverage the small victories. A lot of times people will look at somebody like a Lawrence Tam or a Chuck Marshall or any Layla Black. They'll look at somebody like that and go, well, geez, you know, they're making like $60,000 in a month or something. It's so unrelatable to the average person, but it's so inspiring though. Don't get me wrong. You love hearing it. It's exciting to know that that's possible. But what happens is a lot of times we look at the small victories as we don't look at them as accomplishments. We don't look at them as we don't appreciate them as much because you're comparing them to the big victories, right? And what you don't realize is that those big victories are a combination of many small victories, right? You don't just wake up one morning with a big victorious celebration. It's a lot of small achievements and milestones along the way to get there. I was just as ecstatic about my first $25 commission in this business as I was about my first $20,000 month.
Oh yeah.
Right? By the time I got to my first $20,000 month, I was a different person in a different place. It was the same excitement as when I enrolled my first person, when I got my first few people started. In fact, I would almost say, looking back, it was more exciting for me to have those first few small victories, because it was like, hey, this could work. Just the theory of it working when I joined, and then it actually started working. Those small victories. So let's do a quick little, in your mind, a quick little assignment on small victories. Let's talk about money. Money is generally the main primary reason why people get involved in, these type of businesses, home-based businesses, on a second business on top of a job, or go online and look for an opportunity. It's usually always money, like 90% of the time. But it's never money. It's never, ever money. So how am I contradicting myself? See, nobody wants just a pile of green pieces of paper stacked up in some closet somewhere, right? What they want is they want the emotion of what that money can do for them. Okay, so I want you to understand something. At the end of the day, nobody's really looking for green stacks of paper. It doesn't even, like right now, in my wallet, I got a check, because I told myself, man, I want to go to the bank and remember it's in my closet, so I go to the ATM. I look at this, I go, this is just a check. And it's just got no meaning to me. But once that money gets into the bank, and then once I can take that money and spend it on something, suddenly that emotion of what I'm spending it on will mean something to me. But a check in my wallet doesn't mean anything. It doesn't even change my life at all. It does nothing until until I utilize it. It does nothing until I go out and do something with it. And it's only the emotion that's caused from that. So money is a resource that's going to allow you to do things that are going to spark an emotion inside of you that's going to be motivating. That's why people want money. They don't really want money. So let's put this into a practical application. Okay? Let's get some feedback here. What do you think the average car payment is? For the average person that's making a car payment, how much money do you think that is per month?
$500.
So I'm hearing about 250 to 600 range. 350. Let's just say like flat number, give or take, 50 bucks. So $300 a month, right? So $300 a month is really just a handful of basics and a couple inner circles. I mean, holy smokes. Let's put this in a practical application. If somebody's only making a few $100s in their business compared to Layla Black, the comparison, it makes you feel like you're making small income, not even worthy of anybody knowing, because it's embarrassing or humiliating compared to, Layla, or compared to, some of these big leaders, right? So what happens is we draw some sort of weird comparison to other people. And we, instead of recognizing our own achievements, sometimes what we do is we unfortunately bury them. And they never get utilized, they never get leveraged, they never get appreciated. So what if you started transitioning? Instead of thinking about money, what if you started thinking about the emotion that money could cause? So get this, what if you were just to simply rephrase something where you said, hey, so-and-so has been in this business for this amount of time, and it's already earning enough income to be able to cover their entire car payment every single month. So essentially their car's free. Their car's paid for. They got in this business, created a residual income, that car that's sitting there in their garage, their driveway, is paid for. Imagine the stress of never having to worry about a car payment again. I mean, think about it. Imagine the feeling of how good it would feel to know that you never have to worry about something as simple as a car payment. Or jump it up to rent. Or jump it to maybe to something small like a cell phone bill. Something so simple as that. A few basics, sales, and your cell phone bill is like covered. The emotion of what some of these things can do for people, and it's up to you to assign an emotional value to money. Once you do, everything's going to change. Because what I'm seeing so much in the community is people comparing themselves. True story. I called up one of the women who's not even here this weekend, and we chatted, I think, on Facebook. I can't recall how I was talking to her, but I just asked her, I said, so how are you doing? She's like, oh, okay, well, how much money have you made in this business? She was embarrassed to tell me how much money she had made in this business. Embarrassed. This is a woman on Team Take Massive Action, just because there's a lot of camera stuff, I'm not going to say a name on it, I think that would be rude. But this is somebody who was embarrassed to tell me. After helping her reframe that any money is a success, she finally told me. So she's been in the business for around 8 months and has made around $6,500. Okay? I'm sitting there going, hold on, I'd highlight you on the website. What's going on here, right? How on earth was she embarrassed to tell me that she had made $6,500? Does anybody know?
Her dreams were big.
Comparisons. It's a fake story we tell ourselves in our minds that somehow we're not as good as other people. And it doesn't matter if she made $6,500. There might be somebody in this room that's made $50 that's comparing yourself to that $6,500 person right now. But really, there's people that would love to be in your shoes to have a couple sales, right? So what I want to do is I want to help everybody here understand. Let's get out of the comparison game. Let's start celebrating small victories. We can reach the masses. We can show them that they can change their life with it. The average person could change their life with an extra $300 a month. I mean, a handful of inner circle sales. If it took you 6 months to figure out how to get a handful of sales, it would take you 6 months to change your life. That would be one of the greatest opportunities somebody ever got themselves involved in. From there, it's a stepping stone. And they can get up to covering their bills, get up to actually being able to quit their job, get up to traveling the world, get up to some of the bigger emotional things. But you've got to make sure you, personally, never find yourself comparing to anybody else. You personally say, you know what, I'm going to use these stories as inspiration, but my own story, for me, an extra $200 is so impactful to me, that's my goal. And then transition to money. What would that $200 do for you? And then when you achieve it, don't worry so much about the money. Start sharing with people the story about what is different in your life as a result of being a superwoman on Team Take Massive Action. That story is going to change the lives of other people. Right? So I'm going to say one last thing and then get out of here. I don't know how long I have.
2 minutes. We're late.
Lawrence told me to share something that I was supposed to share Saturday. So for those of you that are able to come Saturday to the Hard Rock, okay? And if you're not, just talk to somebody. Let's figure out how to get you there. I'm going to give sort of a speech on a new system that's been developed. Very few people in here have even seen it. In fact, I'd say less than 3 people in this whole entire room have not even seen it. But I will just tease one part that will be for women. And it's not going to make a lot of sense because I'm going to rattle some things off really fast. Okay? It's intended to literally tease you. But it is. I'm so excited. Lawrence wanted me to at least share something. Okay? So part of the new system that we have is with Team Take Massive Action is we're going to have our own new public site that's going to have like a blog on it. Essentially, it's going to be like a blog where I can write blog posts, okay? And actually, a lot of our leaders can write blog posts. And if you feel like sharing it, you would change your ID on the end, just like you would with Empower. And you can then share our own content on Facebook, email, whatever. And then all the links on the site, we'll have links that'll advertise different things. All the links, any calls to action will all be yours. So any women or anybody in our entire team, if they don't have necessarily blogging skills, stuff like that, they don't have to blog. We'll teach you how to blog. We think that's a great skill, but you could actually just leverage the skills of some others. Now, what does that mean for you? There's going to be an entire section of this blog that's going to be dedicated to the superwomen of Team Take Massive Action. And it's actually already done. This part is already done. So a lot of times I'm sharing things that like we're still thinking of and still doing. This is pretty cool. And I'm going to be inquiring and sending out emails looking for women leaders. We're going to look for people that do have blogging skills or do have video skills. And we're going to be very selective at first. We don't want to just flood this thing with hundreds of articles. But essentially what we want to do is we want to have sort of a, you've got to be all in. There's going to be some requirements. But we want to have sort of this army of top-notch, authors on this blog. And what you would do is you'd be able to pick topics that have to do with women in entrepreneurship, women in internet marketing, women in blogging, and you serve tons and tons and tons of value in a blog post, okay? And then the whole team...
Than anybody can imagine, right? So everybody, get to your toes, ready? Whoa!